Well, non-native species have been in UK waters for some time. For example, the Chinese mitten crab was discovered in the Thames back in the 1930s. But it's really only the last couple of years that we've seen particular problems with aquatic non-native invasive species. So two examples in particular, the killer shrimp, which was found in Grafham Water in 2010, and back in 2009, the carpet sea squirt, which was found in Holyhead Marina, and that appears to have come across from Ireland, found back in 2005. So you can see these things move around, but it's only the last couple of years that we've really identified invasive species as becoming more of a threat to the UK. Well, in a couple of ways really. First and foremost, a threat to the environment. So the fact that we have non-native species here isn't a particular problem. The problems that we do have are related to invasive species, so they are a threat to our native species, and many of them actually outcompete our native species, and in doing so affect our ecosystems and our native biodiversity. Well, we think that originally many of the non-native invasive species have come over in ballast water of ships, and once they're discharged here, then they become established. For recreational boaters, that means that if they're in UK waters, if they attach themselves to hulls or they become included in bilge water, they can be transported around the UK. So recreational boating can be one of the vectors for non-native invasives moving around UK waters. Yes, very much a threat. Different types of species prefer different types of water. So freshwater species, the killer shrimp, Didemnum, sorry, wrong species. The killer shrimp, which is Dichorogammus velocis, and that's in 4 locations at the moment across the UK. And we also have some plant species such as water fern and water primrose, which are very, very invasive and damaging. Coastal species, like the carpet sea squirt, for example, and wireweed. So many different species for inland and coastal waters. Our experience from looking at other countries suggests that the potential impact is significant to ecosystems and biodiversity, but also different types of industries. So some of the species can have very damaging effects on aquaculture, fishing, for example. So we know that what we have to focus on now is prevention, and then if species are identified, as indeed they have been over the last couple of years, then we need to look at mitigating factors and to see how we can contain rather than eradicate. First and foremost, raising awareness amongst recreational boaters, and we do that through a number of ways, looking for platforms such as the Haven Academy Awards, which are fantastic, give us real value to promote messages through signage, posters, leaflets, presentations, but we need to follow that up with very practical best practice advice. So typically for a boater it would be about lifting a boat out, hauling out at least annually, giving the boat a really good clean before you then set off to a different location, making sure before you leave anchorage that anchors are clean and stowed away properly. If you do find non-native invasive species, making sure you dispose of them on land and not back in the water because they can re-establish themselves. And checking for any species in bilges, draining, cleaning, checking equipment. The funding will give us a tremendous boost really, because what it will enable us to do is a very focused targeted initiative aimed at this particular issue for boaters and marina operators and clubs all around the coast. So our plan is to develop some very engaging, very colourful signage with some awareness raising messages, and we will be able to get that poster and the signage into every club and every marina across the whole of the UK, and we simply wouldn't be able to have that reach and impact if it wasn't for this award. Staying informed, staying aware, keeping the boats nice and clean, and just following the best practice advice. Keep it simple and staying aware, and by doing so then we can demonstrate as a sector recreational boating is taking its responsibility seriously.